there are lists that I'll talk about a couple times a year of the best insurance companies for auto, the best insurance companies for home, that kind of thing. But recently, I saw an industry database that's for body shops that'll let you know which insurers are on your side and which ones are not after you are in an auto accident and your vehicle has to be repaired. This is important stuff because why do you have this insurance? Well, because you have to. In all states except, I think, New Hampshire, you don't have to. But you have to have auto insurance to be on the road. And the reason you have it is not to be on the road. It's when something happens that knocks your car off the road. So if I'm a body shop, and I've talked to body shop owners about this, I know when somebody comes in with a wrecked vehicle or they have it towed to my shop, I know from experience which insurers have your back as a consumer and which don't, which are trying to cheap out on the repair to your damaged vehicle and which ones are not. And so in the body shop industry, there's a database that's put together by something called the Crash Network. And the data is available to the general public. So I'm on their website right now looking at the current list. And what's fascinating is there are so many more auto insurers than we're aware of. Because you think about who we're aware of. We're aware of Geico, Progressive, Allstate, State Farm, who am I missing? Amica. Amica kind of. But there are certain insurers that have so much of the mind share and market share from all their heavy advertising. And if you're watching TV, particularly sports, well, that's the only time I ever see commercials, so maybe it's elsewhere too. But you're going to see, and even the same commercial block, you might see Progressive and Geico running ads, not next to each other, but in that same block. And you'll see, is it Jake from State Farm and Flo from Progressive and the Gecko from Geico and who am I missing? Allstate's the Mayhem guy. Did I get those right? And so these companies get their market share from marketing. It proves advertising works. But when you look at the list of the 25 best auto insurers from the perspective of a body shop, who's there who is an advocate for the consumer, not one of those bigs make the list. So what's wild is a lot of these companies I've never heard of, you've probably never heard of, but most of these companies that do a really great job are not marketing machines. They are generally local or regional auto insurers, and their ratings are interesting because the body shops give grades from A to F. By the way, the big brand name auto insurers overwhelmingly are down in D and F territory in terms of how they're there for you as a customer. But I want to hit you with one. Never heard of it. Number one, the only A+, North Carolina Farm Bureau, whoever they are. Number two, with an A, Alpha Mutual. Now, those are the only two insurers in the country for automotive who get an A+ or an A. A- goes to Chubb. If you're familiar with Chubb, they insure wealthy individuals. And then Erie Insurance, which is a regional insurer, gets an A-. And then I'm just going to name these quickly because it take too much time to give an explanation of each. We've got Michigan Farm Bureau, Acuity Insurance, North Star Mutual, Rural Mutual, Mutual of Enumclaw, I guess that's how you say that, Grinnell Mutual, Pure Insurance, another insurer for wealthy people. Amica Mutual, Krista's insurer. Farm Bureau Property Casualty. PIMCO Mutual. And then Auto Club AAA Southern California, big auto insurer in California. Pioneer State Mutual, Auto Owners Insurance, AAA Texas, Westfield Insurance, West Bend, Cincinnati Insurance that has been on best insurer lists for as far back as I can remember, Frankenmuth Insurance, something like that, Salina, Safety Insurance, and in 25th place, Pekin Insurance. So think about it, of those 25, how many you ever heard of? Like nobody. And so it goes to show how often we as consumers make a decision who we do business with based on the influence of advertising and marketing. But in many cases, to our own detriment. That this involves work to scope out one of these smaller insurers. And you want to see this list for yourself? crashnetwork.com/IRC, and we'll have a link in our notes.
We will indeed.
And you'll be able to see this list. But the idea is don't be passive. Don't just say, oh, well, I really like the Gecko, or Flow is really cool. This idea of creating personalization of a very impersonal, cold product like auto insurance is what these ads are all about with Jake of State Farm and all that stuff. But this is your car, this is your life, and when the chips are down, you want the best service you can get when that's happening. And that's why I want you to know about this list and see if you qualify for any of these, let's call them no-name insurers.